Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Unfiltered Joy. It is March. Happy March. And today I'm going to do a solo jam. No guests, just me. So here is what we're going to jam on today. We're going to be talking a little bit about the seasons of change in our physical and emotional landscape. We're going to be talking about my personal meaning for the month of March, and hopefully it translates for you, the impact of reflection and reconnection, and a few little life lessons that I've learned over the past month while I've been road tripping. I have been road tripping since the beginning of February. And so I've just taken some time to move through some of the things and life lessons that I've learned while I've been out on the road. So we have a lot to cover. Let's just dive right in and get started. So I don't know about you, but I certainly feel different as soon as the weather starts shifting from fall into winter. And that started last year, right? But it's not just about the physical sensations of shifting from tank tops into winter boots and hats and gloves. If you live on the East Coast like me or Midwest like me, there is an emotional shift that happens as well. And when I think about the first 3 months of the year, there is actually an image that pops into my head. And it was sparked the other day because somebody on Instagram had posted something very similar to the imagery that I imagine as we move through the environmental and emotional changes within our lives through the different seasons of life. So I want you to picture yourself all cozied up in the fetal position, completely under your bed covers. All right. For me, that's January. It's hibernation. It's taking time to go inside of myself for extra rest after a long year, quite frankly. We need this time for relaxation and contemplation. And then in February, the covers get turned down just a little bit. Maybe they shed just a little bit. Imagine yourself starting to stretch a little bit, sit up in bed, waking up slowly, easing back into our routines, our habits, and putting our feelers out with what might feel like a fit moving forward. And now here we are, and it's March. For some of you, you might be wondering, how did those past 2 months go by so quickly? I know I sit here wondering that myself, but now it's March. And technically, we've rested and digested a bit, if you will, and now it's time to get up and march. That came to me just last week that I don't really think it's a coincidence that the name of this month signifies moving forward. Moving forward March is what I call it, or March forward. I envision moving from that fetal position to that sitting up position. And now in March, my feet hitting the ground with a burst of well-being and energy shooting up my body. March is a time to make things happen. Committing to taking steps in the direction of your desires every single day with intention. And I know a lot of us try in the month of January. On January 1st, we put all of our eggs in one basket. We decide what our top 3 goals are going to be of the year, and we go really, really hard for January. Some of us maybe lose a little steam in February, and we get burnt out on the things that actually we could have been slowly building and moving towards our desires. It's likely that time of year where your New Year's resolutions aren't so forced. By the time it's March, it's not so forced. And I find myself asking a more important question. Jot this down if you want. What do I want to march forward with? What actually feels aligned and right for me? It's a time to reflect and refocus on your desires and really map out what that looks like for you. Maybe it's a new routine. I have a handy little acronym that I want to invite you to take in this week. In order to move forward or march forward, if you will, we have to start. So I want you to write down in your journal or your notebook or on your sticky note nearby, I want you to write down START and check in this week to see if you have these things set up in your own life right now. So let's move through the START framework. The S is for support. What or who is supporting your goals outside of yourself? It's important that you've got your back, but I found in any goal that I set that when I have a support system or someone who's holding accountability with me, that goal or desire expands exponentially, sometimes even gets expedited. The T is tell someone. Speak out loud your intentions. When we do this, it gives them strength, power, and momentum. It's a beautiful place to start to have those intentions in your own heart, in your own body, and fully embrace and believe them. But at this point in March, in order to keep marching forward, we've got to have that support and we've got to tell someone, speaking those intentions out loud and making them even stronger than they were in January and February. The A in START is action. Nothing happens if nothing happens. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So take action. What's your game plan? And if you need support getting your game plan together, there is an incredible guidebook that I've put together for you called the Thrive Guide. You can get it today. It's a beautiful 160-page workbook that will take you from A to Z in setting these intentions, taking action, and starting to move forward today. So if you're sitting in March and January and February were kind of a bust, or you're sitting here going, I don't know even where to start, that Thrive Guide, which I'll put in the show notes, is a beautiful place to start. It's a 55-day, 8-week game plan that you can do self-paced, or you can reach out to me for extra support. Now, the R in START is recognition. This is super key. As we begin to take action on the things that we've told our support system that we're going to follow through with, we need to give ourselves encouragement and acknowledgement every single day. If you go through the Thrive Guide, you'll be set up for that kind of success in recognizing your efforts, in giving yourself that encouragement every single morning and every single evening, as it's part of the success plan that I've set up for you. And the T is track your progress. Choose a daily, weekly, and monthly check-in and stick to that check-in. I do this every single month. And again, that workbook provides a perfect tracking system for you on this journey. Now, like I mentioned, I do this track your progress check-in at the end of every single month. It's a powerful, powerful part of my practice and really keeps me honest with the goals, priorities, and commitments that I've made to myself for the year. Check out the show notes for your free monthly reflection sheet. It's very simple to really tap into the reflection that you need to reconnect and move forward. Now, if you watch the YouTube video on vision boarding, which was probably, I would say about 6 weeks ago, it's one of the first videos that you'll see on the Joy channel. You'll see exactly how I lay everything out. This process makes it so simple to update monthly goals, priorities, stay focused throughout every single week and every single month. I love it because I typically look back at the end of the year and have completed about 85 to 95% of my vision board every single year. It's a breeze because I go through this process with myself. I love looking back in December in awe of really everything that I've created in my life. And I can tell you from personal experience that it feels easier to stay where you're at right now. Even if you desire something completely different or you're not quite reaching your goals that you set for yourself, it can feel easier to stay where you're at because you are certain of what life looks like right now as is. What you're staring at around you, who you have around you, what life looks like feels easier because fear and uncertainty block our start button. Self-sabotage can come from success or fear of failure or fear of success. All right. And I'm going to explain that a little bit because once I start, I can no longer blame or put excuses on anything else. But if I don't start in the first place, I can make a lot of excuses why nothing has worked out. Some examples are, okay, once I apply for that job, I'll either get an interview or I won't. Once I start that new wellness routine, I'll feel better in my body or I won't, or I'll give up on myself. Once I start guitar lessons, I'll get really good at it and I'll love music, or I'll give up too soon. It will be too hard and I'll leave it. Once I open that business, I'll have a ton of clients or it will be crickets. We get so caught up in the this or that extremes that we paralyze ourselves with expectations for success or fear of failure. Bless me. And as you know, in Unfiltered Joy, I don't edit things out. Totally unfiltered. So there you go. Expectations. So we were talking a little bit about getting caught up in the this or the that and how we can paralyze ourselves with the expectations for success or the fear of failure. And then we won't take action. The one thing that we need to march forward. So I invite you this week to do a monthly reflection. And if you haven't yet taken the time to put together a vision for this year, that is a must-have for March. It's your first step. Get the Thrive Guide and get going. Also, don't do it alone. When I decided this year that it was time to increase my health goals, I'm moving into my 40s this year, and I really wanted to work on keeping up the momentum that I desired for myself cardiovascularly, flexibility wise, and basically all overall health. And I've done a great job emotionally supporting myself in that aspect. But in doing so, I focused less on my health goals. So turning 40 this year, I decided that that was going to become a priority. And the first thing I did was I got a coach. Now, you guys, as many of you know, some of you have been working with me for a while. Some of you have opened the Vault series on YouTube and you're going through all of those amazing strength training videos. I'm a certified personal trainer, but even I desire to have someone else lay out the game plan, encourage me in the direction of my goals, and keep the momentum going. The same thing goes with our desires and life goals beyond the physical body. As a life coach, Make It Happen, Moving Forward March is a very exciting time for me. This is the time when clients drop in. They're typically giving me the poke and they're ready to do things differently. They went through the January hype. They went through the February fallout, as I call it, and now they're actually ready to stop making excuses, put the game plan together, have accountability, have someone that supports them, and actually move the needle forward. If that's you, drop me a DM at Joyfully Bee on Instagram or on my Facebook page at Heidi Bee, or even drop a comment in the notes below. I want to connect with you right now. I've got another fun acronym for you, and that's the word coach. What is a coach? Use this acronym. Coaches help provide C for clarity, O for opportunities, A for action and accountability, C for connection to be seen and heard, and H for that honesty piece to keep you honest with yourself and your goals. I see you. I feel your energy. Let's get to the truth so you can align and move forward from that space. Acceptance is required, and I'll teach you how to do that. A coach invites you to push the edges, take the chance, and has your back while you courageously step in and step up, because that is where the expansion and growth happens. I know with my coach, when she says, push the edge, keep going further, you can do it, it motivates me to believe in myself even further, dig even deeper, and keep on going. All right, loves, lastly, I want to take a moment to acknowledge some of the life lessons I had while road tripping this past month. I decided to migrate to warmer weather the entire month of February. The first week I spent time with family in California. The second week I spent alone time on the ocean in an Airbnb in California on my own. And the last 2 weeks I spent with my parents who are being snowbirds in California. Now, I am beyond grateful for the opportunity to take work on the road and have a flexible vacation schedule. And during this time, I really validated a few things from within myself, having been gone from my central grounding home for so long. The biggest lesson that I learned was that we carry our joy with us wherever we go. This was validated. It's something that I've always known, and it's something that I work with my clients on, but it really validated that joy is something that we carry with us wherever we go. So we often try to make it about the sunshine, the temperature, the type of house we have, the car we have, the material things, right? And the opportunities that we have. Now, the sunshine definitely makes me happy, but when it's gone and the clouds roll in, and reality sets in, where is your source of that high frequency continuing to come from? That's an important question to ask yourself. We get to be in special situations like vacation mode, to slow down, to get present, to be in gratitude, to make memories, and create the space that we need to move forward. But the mistake, or rather the lesson that I learned this time around, is that I often am living for what the next special moment, trip, or vacation is, rather than practicing the feelings I get when I'm there, back at home. When we get in a hurry with life and start operating in fast forward instead of just moving forward, it can really trip us up. It puts us into autopilot. And the issue with autopilot is that it removes the practice and curiosity that we need to do life differently. We don't even realize we're going too quickly of a pace, and we're not really taking the time to leave space for joy, right? When we're on the autopilot mode. So the tool that I encourage you to use is curiosity. Curiosity is a tool because if you're curious, you're constantly looking around, growing, and making the world your classroom, making everyday life your classroom. The practice and growth is the stepping stone to your desires. Curiosity is the most compassionate tool for healing, health, and happiness. So my invitation to you this week is to trade in your autopilot for curiosity. Slow down, look around, Take time to get curious and use the reflection sheet to reorganize and reprioritize moving forward, marching forward this month. My invitation to you is to also use the START acronym. Don't forget that the first T in START is tell someone. Give your desires momentum this March. And if you aren't sure who to tell, or you want a safe space to drop your desires, please message me at Joyfully Bee on Instagram. I want to hear from you, and I want to cheer for you. March is so significant because it sets the tone for spring, which taps into rebirth and new growth. If you use March to begin those daily steps, spring will put some incredible blooms right in front of you because you're already on path. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you loved this or any of the Unfiltered Joy episodes, please share them, comment below, and be sure to subscribe here to the Joy channel for more episodes. Have a beautiful day. Go out into the world, shine your light bright, and live a limitless life. See you soon.